Okay, so first order here, welcome to Planning Commission meeting. Today is Monday, March 25th. First order is roll call.
Zobrist.
Here.
Farrell.
Here.
Keach.
Here.
Neff.
Here.
Fick. Ritterbush.
Here.
Smock. Here.
Nicely done.
Dial.
Here.
DeWeese.
Here. Thank you very much. Nice work. First order of business this evening is the approval of minutes from regular meeting. That was February 25th. That meeting had a rather robust agenda, so hopefully you've all taken a quick peek at the minutes from that meeting. Having said that, are there any deviations, amendments, or changes that anyone noted? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve minutes from regular meeting February 25?
So moved.
Motion was made. Do we have a second?
Second.
Call when ready.
All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed the same. Approved.
Thank you. Next up is public hearing portion. Prior to hearing our petition for this evening, the council will give a brief statement to the public.
Thank you. Public hearings are being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to make a comment to the Plan Commission will be afforded an opportunity to do so and will give their testimony under oath or affirmation. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Plan Commission will make a recommendation to the Village Board. The Plan Commission makes recommendations only. The Village Board is responsible for taking final action on these matters.
Great, thank you very much. First hearing this evening is petition number 19-01ZA. This is subject property which is a part of the northwest quarter of the northeast quarter of section 17. It'll be brought up on the screen and you all have it in your exhibits. This is a zoning change, a request from I2, which it currently sets at, which is industrial, to RS. This change is being requested because the petitioner is willing to provide this property to the Park District. As we discuss this, is there someone from the public that would like to speak, or from the petitioner that would like to speak? The subject property for the table, I think all of you have it here. You know which property this is. It has a water detention pond as well as some green space around it. It sits around that bend as you kind of head along the interstate corridor. Roger, any questions or thoughts from the trustees or the community?
I mean, the village has worked closely with both the owner and the soon-to-be owner and getting all the details worked out in terms of easements and that type of thing. So no, it's a good thing for the village of Morton that will be a nice spot for a park and eventually a walking trail, and
Yep.
be a good asset to the village.
Yeah, it's a terrific thing. Any questions from the table this evening?
I just have a question, just as maybe a point of order. When we approve zoning based on a contingent exchange, a sale or whatever, is the zoning change based on that contingency? Or does it happen in advance of the exchange? I'm just kind of curious about how that happens.
At this table, our recommendation, which is of course a recommendation only, would then go on to the trustees. Once the trustees approve it, that's when the actual zoning change takes place.
Right.
So oftentimes they coincide that with the actual transaction.
Okay.
Now, in the instance that doesn't happen, the special use has a 1 year, essentially, if it doesn't go into play, then it reverts back. In this particular instance, on the RS, is there anything else that we need to keep in mind?
The zoning change, I mean, is as permanent as the zoning classification is, so there's no implementation deadline. You know, if they don't implement within X number of days, weeks, whatever, it goes away. So, but no, you correctly summarized the procedural issue. So,
I have a question for Roger. Is this a buildable site? I mean, is it big enough to,
There'd only be an area kind of to the east side of it that they could put something in terms of, I'm not going to speak for the Park District, the end user, but
right.
a parking lot, or there could be a small building of some sort there, but at this time, that's all that has been discussed.
So, okay. Does making it an R5 make it
Yes.
more? Or,
RS.
It's an
RS,
RS, yeah.
okay.
That allows it to become Park District ground
okay.
using space.
Does that make it more?
It's more restricted than what it currently is,
It was
and
it's more
industrially, right.
restricted. Okay.
Yeah, in essence, it sort of cements its role as something that would be utilized by the Park District as opposed to becoming a potential development project unless it's
Yeah.
pushed back into an I-2.
Okay.
Typically, the RS property, if you look on that zoning map, a lot of times it could be even ag. It's what it's kind of held in that until somebody says, well, we're either going to make it a commercial subdivision or a residential subdivision, whatever the case might be, so.
Any other questions from the table tonight? Hearing none, do we have a notification to proceed on petition number 1901ZA?
I move to approve it.
Motion is moved. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Call when ready.
Keach,
Yes.
Neff,
Yes.
Ritterbusch,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Guile,
Yes.
DeWeese,
Yes.
Zobers,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
passed.
Thank you. Thanks, Dan. Next up is an ordinance making amendments regarding exceptions to yard requirements to Chapter 4 of Title 10 of the Municipal Code. This change, or the email that deals with this change, was included in your packet. Roger, could you give us just a brief summary here of what this was so the table knows what to read?
Yes, basically, what you're looking at with the red underline is we're just adding that sentence. After we went through this ordinance a month or so ago, Craig Loudermilk wanted something, he talked about downspouts, and I said, well, it's somewhat mentioned in that existing ordinance, but we clarified it a little further by adding just that last sentence. Downspouts or any pipe drainage may project no more than half of the setback from the structure to the front, rear, and or side property lines.
Okay.
And that kind of fills the bill for him, and we should be good.
So that's the red underline part?
That's yeah, all we were
It's
adding
not-
is that.
It's not red on my email.
Well, I think I have the original that's red, so it's the underlined part, I'm sorry.
It's not underlined either.
I'm gonna take that up with somebody later.
Okay, so downspouts or any pipe drainage may project no more than half of the setback from the structure to the front, rear, and or side of the property lines is the addition to
Yes,
this 10.4.3D.
yep.
Okay. Questions from the table?
That ends up being a big deal sometimes with
Yeah.
downspouts, when somebody's already having water issues. The last thing they want is the neighbor's downspout right at the property line and flooding them out. So,
Well, I can see this especially on some of the newer zoning, residential zonings that have the narrower lot lines in general anyway.
water's a big deal.
Yes, especially here in Morton. Any questions on this? If none, do we have a motion to approve? Ordinance making amendments regarding
I'll make a
yardage
motion to
requirements.
approve.
That motion is made.
Second.
There it is. Call when ready.
Neff,
Yes.
Ritterbusch,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Guile,
Yes.
DeWeese,
Yes.
Zobers,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes.
Keach.
Yes.
Thank you very much. That will end the public hearing portion of tonight's meeting. Now on to other business. Roger, you want to talk a little bit about the preliminary plat for Jeff Green Memorial Subdivision?
Yeah, laying on the table is the preliminary and the final plat both of the Jeff Green Memorial Subdivision. And what it amounts to is that as it exists right now, one piece of property going to be made into 3 different lots. Lot 1, which will and does now contain the enterprise rental facility. Lot 2 is a lot to be sold. And then Lot 3 is the property that we just recommended the RS zoning for, with the pond on it. So all the plats have been looked at in terms of easements, we should be, or we're all good with it on the Village of Morton's end. Be glad to answer any questions if you've got them.
So as you're all looking at your plats in front of you here, you can see those lots clearly labeled 1, 2, and 3. 3 is the lot that we previously rezoned this evening, or recommended the rezoning of. Lot 1 is the portion that remains currently under commercial use. Lot 2 is a 2.45 acre parcel that will be up for, available for sale. Any questions here on this preliminary and final plat from the village? Hearing none, do we have a motion to approve both preliminary, well, we have to approve them separately, I believe, so let's, is that correct, or can we?
You can do it.
All right, let's do this as a combination, preliminary and final plats.
So moved.
Has been moved, do we have a second?
Second.
There it is. Call when ready.
Ritterbusch,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Guile,
Yes.
Zovers,
Yes.
DeWeese,
Yes.
Farrell,
Yes,
Keach,
Yes.
Neff.
Yes.
Approved.
great, thank you. Roger, would you like to introduce?
Yes, we have a new member of the Plan Commission, Nathan Guile, seated on the far side there. So introduce yourself to him when you get done tonight. Nathan is a Morton resident and anxious to serve.
Nathan, that it's traditional for the new planning member to get up and do about a half-hour speech about themselves and try to get into political conversation if possible. Go ahead.
That might be
Welcome to the table. I'm glad we were able to start you on a rather easy evening. Is there anything else from the village this evening that you, trustees, or from you?
No, sir.
All right. If no other business, do we have a motion to adjourn? Oh, don't be shy.
So moved.
Thank
Come on,
you.
Nathan, get in there.
And a second?
A second.
There it is.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks, guys.